everyone. Special edition tonight of Red, White, and True. Got both Ed and Ronnie here. Say hi, Ronnie.
Hello, everybody.
And if you've seen the title, we're going to talk for a little while, maybe 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, depending on what we come up with. But talk about the LA riots that are going on. And notice I didn't say the protests in Los Angeles. I called it what it is, and those are riots that are going on, right, Ronnie? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not protests. Once they've gotten to the point they're at now, they're not protests anymore.
So give us the update that you know right now.
Well, I've got a video of what's going on in LA right now, 36 seconds, and it's pretty amazing.
I think that's 7 Waymo cars. I'm pretty sure. These are Jaguars. If you look up a Waymo, these are white self.
These
cars
are
and
Jaguars.
stuff like that on fire. That's not peaceful at all.
Well, I have Fox Live now on this TV right behind where the camera is, and the LA mayor is on live, and she the headline that I can see, I don't have the volume up, but the headline was "Stop the Raids Now." Not trying to get people off of the streets or anything like that. Get the raids stopped now. Now, the new headline says no tolerance for criminal activity, but there wouldn't be criminal activity if they weren't on the streets.
Exactly.
Because we're way past the First Amendment right to protest, to assemble. That was put in for a reason, so that we the people would have recourse against the government. But when it becomes a non-peaceful event, then it becomes no longer a First Amendment protected event. It becomes a criminal event, and they are committing crime. So I don't know if you've got something that you wanted to say in the comments about what's going on that you would like to hear us discuss. Whatever that you would like to hear from us, go ahead and throw that in the comments. We'll get to it. But tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 7:00 Eastern, is our regular Red, White, and True, and wanted to take the time tonight. Probably should have last night, and we just weren't able to get to that. But if you remember, Ronnie, I don't know, maybe I'm a prophet or something now. That's tongue in cheek and being funny. But I said last Tuesday, I just felt like there was something going to happen that we were going to need to come on. And, I'm joking about the prophet. Okay. If you're a liberal and don't have a sense of humor, that's what I'm talking about. So, and if you're a liberal, you're welcome to come in here and listen to what we got to say. We'll pray for you, and we'll go from there. But Ronnie, this is serious stuff going on.
Absolutely. If anybody remembers what happened in Ferguson, Missouri a few years ago, 5 years ago, as a matter of fact, because I just saw the 5-year anniversary of what's his name? He's finally drug free for 5 years now, but that's a low George Floyd. Yeah, that's a low joke. But Ferguson, Missouri 5 years ago was something similar to this. I don't think it's as bad. And like you said earlier, at one point it goes from being a peaceful protest, which is protected under the First Amendment rights, to just full blown criminal activity. And I don't know if anybody can see it, but I've got it pulled up on the TV back here. This is live news feed of what's going on. And, hurting police officers and all that, that's criminal activity. That is not peaceful protest anymore. When it said 700 Marines and 2,000 more National Guard sent to LA. So my prayers are with you, boys, because cops there are getting hurt. They're getting hurt bad.
They are, and I believe up to this point that most of the federal forces that are there, as far as military, are being used to protect federal property and all right now. But they are right there. So, I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot for them to shift from property protection to law enforcement. Now, that brings up a good topic. And we talked about that a little bit earlier when we were together. The act that protects our citizens from police action from the military. Talk about that for a second.
Oh, the Pause Comitatus Act?
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to pull it up because I want to get the right thing.
Notice how I had you say that instead of me, because I'd have probably butchered the pronunciation of it.
Let's see.
As you pull it up, I mean, it is a law. It is a law. And it's not an amendment or anything like that. It's actually a law that is on the books. And so, Ronnie, go ahead and tell us what it says.
The Pause Comitatus Act, United States federal law, originally signed June 18th, 1878 by President Rutherford B. Hayes, that limits the powers of the federal government and the use of federal military personnel to enforce domestic policies within the United States. Congress passed the act as an amendment to an Army operation bill following the end of Reconstruction and updated in 1956, 1981, and 2021. Now, I'm no law expert, but from enforcing domestic policies, and from what I understand, the policies that are trying to be enforced right now are federal policies as far as immigration, customs, and enforcement. And then the stuff has hit the fan there. So, I mean, what else are we going to do? Just sit around and let them burn the town down like they did in Ferguson, Missouri? So, hopefully this Pause Comitatus Act doesn't quite apply. At least I'm hoping so. So that way maybe they get this crap under control, because it's been going on for too long. I mean, this has been, 4 or 5 days now?
Yeah. And, if it was something that the LA Police Department, CHIP, California Highway Patrol, and those folks could handle, you would hope that it would have been over with by now. We don't want it to get to where it was in 92 in LA, where there was day after day after day of major racial tension riots. And it's, if nothing else on the federal troops deployed, that, as I mentioned earlier, they can switch their focus relatively quick, and not like they have to assemble, get there, they're there. And, in order for that act to go into play, all that the president would need to do would declare that there was an insurrection there, and then the act is null and void for that period of time while that declaration is in place.
It suspends that act.
So I mean, we haven't been using the military to police illegal immigrants that are in the country, but these illegal immigrants and paid protesters, might I add, in addition to the illegal immigrants, haven't been doing this all around the country. And this is different than just police action. Uh, I'm watching a video, and I can't tell if it is live or if it is from earlier today, but a number of looks like LAPD officers rushed to an area where a crowd had assembled, and actually the officers are on foot in riot gear, and they are building up a huge, deep line that, well, they keep moving forward, and the protesters are moving backward.
Yeah, I don't. It's not showing on this one, but it's showing on the laptop, and it's they're 20 or 30 deep.
Yeah,
right now, and it's full riot gear.
Oh, but
you know, like Beth was saying earlier, and I hadn't seen it until I got home, and yeah, they're shooting commercial grade fireworks and I had a video of it. I thought I saved it. Apparently I didn't, of them shooting commercial grade fireworks at police cars. And, I've actually got a video, I believe, of a reporter getting shot with a rubber bullet, and everybody's freaking out because that reporter got shot. Well, that's going to happen, I mean, with that much chaos and disorganization going on,
Well, I'm pretty sure that was Trump's fault that happened.
Yeah, it was. It was Trump's fault. I'm sure of it. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and show the video now.
After hours of standing off, this situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
You just shut the You okay?
I'm good.
You okay?
Where did it hit you? Just my leg, I'm good.
Fascists! Report that they're fascists! You're okay. You're not okay. Hurt. Fascists!
Well, no, that's really sad and all, and people got to understand something though. That was a rubber bullet, and if nobody's been shot by one, they hurt. They're going to leave a mark. You're going to get a welt. You're going to get a sting, and you're going to wake up tomorrow morning and you're going to feel it, but you're alive.
Well,
it looked like. Go ahead.
Well, if you're a reporter in a war zone, I don't know how else you can describe that other than it being a war zone.
Mm-hmm.
You know that there are risks that go along with that.
Yeah.
And it was a young female, and if she was there just to look pretty or whatever, and I'm not saying all young reporters do that, but I'm thinking if she was there to pad her resume, she better consider what can happen.
Yeah, the possibilities.
Situations. You've got people on both sides. The fuse has already been lit. The anger is in the air, and it's it's the real deal. So don't get in there. Don't put yourself in a place. It looked to me like she was in between, in the area in between what was going on. Well, what kind of sense would that make? You can get hit from both sides that way.
Yeah, but like you said, it's a war zone, and she knew the risks, and she still chose to stand there. It looked like the shot came from off the side. I don't know if they intentionally shot to hit her or if they were trying to hit the protesters behind her. Whatever the reason may be, she's going to live. Okay, she's not going to not wake up tomorrow. She'll be all right.
And don't think we're downplaying a civilian getting injured.
Yeah,
because we're not.
No.
But again, the onus of all of this goes back on the illegal immigrants that are protesting. And if you are not protesting, rioting, and if you are an American citizen and you are out rioting with them, you don't have legal protection either, because you skipped over the First Amendment when it became a violent uprising. And so you're just as guilty in that aspect as the illegals are. They just got
Absolutely.
extra charges for being illegal. But we can't just stop and let this go on. This is not a political issue, even though it is. You and I talked. I mean, this is basically an invasion of our sovereignty.
Absolutely.
And what country is not going to protect their citizens from an invasion of their country? Now, I know liberals would go all kind of crazy with, well, this is a different story. They're not a military. Look, they are killing Americans every single day.
Absolutely.
Every day they are killing Americans, whether it be through the drugs that they bring across, whether it be raping and murdering and trafficking people every single day. So you take all the things that are going on all around the country and you tell me what's different. Why should America stand back and allow people to continue to maim, murder, rape, vandalize, all of these things, people that don't even have the protection of the Constitution? You got a reason for that?
No. Of all, again, and we've discussed this before multiple times, as a matter of fact, if the left were to fight as hard as they are for illegal immigrants who have no right to be here, who if they did it the right way, then yeah, they've got the right. I'll call you my friend, but until then, you've got no right to be here. If the left were to fight as hard for just the regular, average, everyday American citizen as they do for these illegal immigrants, what kind of world would we be in? How much better of a place would we be in right now? But they don't. They don't care.
Well, I'm saying to take that even further. How much better would the world be if they fought that hard just for their family?
Absolutely.
And their friends and their neighbors. They fight that hard for people that they have never met. And I'm sure they would say, well, I'm proud of that. I'd fight for people. Fight for your kids that hard. Fight for the kids whose mama got killed by an illegal. Fight for the younger ones that got raped. Let's fight for the people that we are here to protect. And I know people would use the, turn the other cheek and things like that. That's not what Jesus was talking about. To let people continue to murder your people and to rape and pillage. That's not what he was talking about.
And just turn the other cheek? No, I don't believe that.
One of the things about the Bible, and I'm going to try to make an effort to study on this some, is when Jesus walked the earth, they were not at a state of war per se, but they were an occupied territory.
Mm-hmm.
The Romans had them occupied. But, and Jesus' teaching did things like say, pay Caesar what is Caesar's, and several different things, follow the laws of the land, and those kinds of things. But they weren't in an active war zone. They were in an occupation, but the Jews were not fighting back. If it had been a wartime era, then we would know more about what Jesus thought about fighting against the enemy. And when I say enemy, not Satan, I'm talking about a physical enemy that is on the ground.
Yeah.
So when I say Jesus is not talking about turning the other cheek when a foreign invading force, I seriously don't believe that that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. It is kind of hard because you want to turn the other cheek, but how many times have we turned our cheeks for these illegal immigrants? How many more cheeks do we have to possibly turn for them? any other country that you illegally immigrate to, you face life in prison. North Korea, they'll kill you. Even Canada has consequences for, sneaking through their borders. But for America, it's okay. That makes no sense. That it's no logical sense to me.
Well, there's no logical sense. And here's the deal. Not only do outsiders, other countries and all, have their say about what we should do with illegal immigrants in our country, it's our own people that have lost their ever-loving mind. Last night, your mom came in about midnight, and I had on, we changed on. I didn't have on, but the Fox Now, and was watching what they were saying. And the governor, the mayor of LA, a senator from New Jersey, Booker, all of them talking about peaceful protests. There was no peaceful protests going on in LA at that point in time.
Just like in Ferguson, Missouri, where the reporter was standing in front of a gas station that was, burning to the ground, and he said everything is mostly peaceful. That's not peaceful at all. At all.
Well, I mean, even the video you just showed a minute ago, do you think that reporter now thinks it's peaceful?
On what side of the aisle she sits.
I'm doubting it.
Yeah.
And Beth made the mention, Newsom is begging to be cuffed. He was talking, Homan, the border czar, was talking about nobody's above the law. And, it's kind of a talking point that his office and people in authority have been using. Nobody's above the law. And Newsom's like, bring it on. You want to arrest me? You know where I'm at. And, first of all, that's stupid and childish.
It is.
And second of all, that's not what he was trying to get at. Homan was not trying to say, we're going to go and arrest the governor of California. He was just saying that nobody is above the law. And yes, they can be arrested.
Absolutely.
That's just the truth. Nobody's above the law, and anybody can be arrested.
I don't like Newsom anyways, and I wish they would cuff him. And Maxine Winters, and then who's the LA mayor?
Bass.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Bass.
Yeah. I don't like her either.
There is this is up right now. LAPD announces that they made 50 arrests during the riots over the weekend, including charges of attempted murder with a Molotov cocktail and assault with a deadly weapon on an officer. 5 officers and 5 LAPD horses have sustained minor injuries and it went off right as I was getting there. So since it's live, I tried to pause it, and it's live, so you can't pause live.
The bad thing about all this too is Trump has to play this carefully. He can't just, send in the Marines, wipe up, all these protesters, arrest them and all that. It's going to look bad on him. So he's going to play this the right way. And personally, I think after 4 or 5 days, however long it's been, and things are still like this, okay, maybe you should have stepped in a little bit sooner. But that's just me.
Well, I've got 2 sides of that as well. Trump, as you say, pretty much has to do this the right way.
Yeah.
People already accuse him of not following the Constitution, doing what he wants when he wants, and all of those things. Now, this is a much, much bigger issue than whether or not you can put a tariff on another country. This is life and death, and what he does in this situation is going to dictate the next 3 years on how we follow this up, because relatively certain that this won't be the end of riots in America. during Trump's tenure. So if he screws this one up, then that's going to almost invite more violence and chaos later, because nothing people would like more than to be martyrs in something like this.
Absolutely.
And we don't want to make martyrs. We want to arrest criminals.
And the thing is just like in Ferguson, Missouri 5 years ago, people were pissed off. They were upset. The division of America is almost complete, to the point where we are going to have another civil war. People are looking for a reason to riot. What I understand about, a couple of hippie liberals screaming in some ICE agent's face has turned into this. I don't understand, but things are only going to get, worse. Like I said, the division of this country is almost complete. The whole if you're not with us, you're against us mentality is dangerous, and it causes this. Ferguson, Missouri, burning Teslas, burning down Tesla dealerships. It's only going to get worse before it gets better. And I really, truly hope Donald Trump plays his role correctly. I'm praying for the guy. I'm going to say that. And I'm praying for everybody's safety there in LA. This is ridiculous. These people knew these people knew that ICE was going to come in sooner or later. Today is not January 21st. So they knew this was going to happen. Why suddenly now they're complaining about it? Makes no sense, other than they're looking for a reason to fight and yell and scream and throw rocks. Acting like children.
I want to use our new video player, and let's see what we talked about this video a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Not the right one. Not the right. I think it had already played in the background. So let's get that back up and see if I can do it the right way. It's a new feature for those that are not, well, for everybody. And it's going to be very helpful for Ronnie and I for the future, but we're still working the kinks out of it. So let's see if this works this time.
No, I want you to, hello, Congresswoman Waters. I just came to use my congressional authority to check on David.
Ma'am, our lobby is securely now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public appeal.
I need to get in.
What are you hoping to do, Congresswoman?
I just want to see David Werta. Right.
Would a congressperson normally be able to enter the...
Normally, yes.
What is happening here?
Well, there were some of the authorities, I don't know who they were, and I'm trying to get in to see David Werta, who they have arrested. He is the head of SEIU local union here. I don't know why he was targeted. I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know whether they're going to deport him. I want to report back to my caucus about what's happening.
And so Maxine Waters couldn't get into the local ICE office there in California.
Poor baby.
She seemed shocked. All I wanted to do was see in the midst of riots that are going on. Now, I know earlier today when that happened, things weren't as bad as what they were last night. Probably not even as bad as what they are now, as it looks like they're firing bottle rockets at police officers. And the picture I'm watching right now live, goodness gracious, this is terrible.
Yeah, I got the banner saying police are ordering protesters to leave area in downtown LA. This is just going to keep going on and on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even dark in LA yet. I mean, it's what, 5:30 or 6:30 out there? 6:30, I think. So they got another couple of hours of daylight at least. And I know last night when your mom came in and we were watching, she had a really hard time. Just like I am right now. What do you say about this? I mean, we're watching live. People break the law, put law enforcement in jeopardy, and people could get killed right in front of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, it affected her so bad that she had nightmares overnight about police being gunned down.
Really?
She couldn't hardly sleep last night because what we're watching right now is the kind of stuff that we were watching last night and right before we went to bed. And, you know, people could say, well, if she was worried about it affecting her that bad, she could have turned it off, and we could have, but we didn't. And, you know, law enforcement is in your guys' bloodline. And, you know, all of those officers that we see on there, some of them are in proper gear. Some of them don't have nothing more than their vests that they normally wear. And they all have moms and dads and husbands and wives and kids and all of that, hoping and praying that they come home safe tonight.
This world's got to change. Everything's got to change.
We mentioned when we were talking last night that this looks like a third world country going on right now.
Yeah.
And
starting
again,
to look like Ferguson, Missouri.
Yeah, we know that this isn't the first time it's happened. It's not the first time this decade it's happened. We had Ferguson and we had Kenosha, Wisconsin, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, again, we mentioned going back to the 92 riots. The Rodney, I was trying to figure
King,
out
Rodney King.
Riot.
Yeah.
And all of those had to do with American citizens. This, you can't forget this point. This is about illegal immigrants in our country. And the president made mention earlier today of some of the long rap sheets of some of the people that had already been arrested or identified as being a part of this going on. Long rap sheets. You know,
I'm sure.
Why do we want illegal immigrants with long rap sheets walking our streets? Do you really, folks, listen to me, do you really think that can't happen here in Columbus, Indiana, or insert the name of your city or town? Do you think it can't happen in Indiana because we're not near the border or we're not near California? Let me just tell you this. Chicago, down 65, all the way to the Gulf of Mexico is filled with people just like what you're watching there. So when they get off the interstate to buy gas or steal gas, whichever it is they do, they're right there on Jonathan Moore Pike. They're right there in Taylorsville. They're right there. You know, don't think that it can't happen right here. And we've seen, and your mom mentioned this last night, we may see some things like this in Columbus, and then not near the magnitude, of course.
Yeah.
May not make the even the Indianapolis or Louisville news, but it'd be a big deal.
We've already had the soggy liberals marching around downtown a couple weeks ago protesting really nothing.
Right.
But it's only going to take one redneck yokel that would say something to turn it into something like that.
Everyone that happens, and Beth says it could happen anywhere in a blink of an eye.
Absolutely.
And literally, blink of an eye is the way you describe that. It could happen 5 minutes from now, 5 hours from now, whenever. But literally, when things like this are going on, things that have nothing to do with this situation could set off, not literally, but set off fireworks.
Yeah. Yep.
And speaking of that, look at your background. It looks like you're on fire back there.
Oh yeah, these little things.
Yeah, right below your.
Yeah, I've got one here, and yeah, I've got 3 of them. I had actually set them up as red, white, and blue, and had them up here in the window, and I forgot to turn them on when we got started. So when you were talking, I turned them on, but it just really bright. You can't see anything. So,
well, I got something I want you to see because you've not seen this yet.
Okay.
Here we go.
This is an Ed and Ronnie special report.
Oh, I was like, oh, sweet, he's got a trailer for Homestead, or
No, it could be Homestead related, and we got something that we've had for a while too.
I love that.
So we are prepared for what's going on. One of the things as I look up, I like the fact that what I'm watching right now is showing the police in a offensive mode. They're not backing up and giving ground. There's a van a police van, no telling what they've got in there. But when they back up like they are now and show the officers, they're not having to back up.
Good.
Because if law enforcement, military, or whatever are having to retreat, then we really, really, really have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially 500 Marines and 2,000 additional. I don't know how many in National Guard they originally said, but if the Marines are running that way, then there's something happened.
Well, the Marines aren't going to run that way.
Yeah,
I mean, you and I both know that's just not going to happen. And I'm not saying that, and actually they are backing up right now, but they're just trying to get up a staircase. That, law enforcement would be afraid when the military wouldn't, but I'm just saying Marines they're not even going to, not that they even think this way, but yes, they do. They're not even going to be given any impression to anybody that they're retreating from anything, especially not a bunch of illegals on the streets of Los Angeles.
Or aging hippie liberals that want to have their say.
The aging hippie liberals more than likely aren't the ones that are throwing things. They're the ones that are there to collect a paycheck. And
yeah.
So, man, I have a feeling it's going to get really bad tonight. I mean, here we are, like I said, just 6:42 in LA. And
there's still plenty more hours of daylight over there.
I mean, are you watching the same one I'm watching, where there's a
No,
guy?
I'm watching Agenda Free TV on YouTube, and he does a pretty good job of kind of staying biased, not following the right, not following the left. Now the comments are another story, but he usually shows whatever Associated Press has going on. So,
there was some fireworks that went off right over top of.
Right now, the intersection he's showing, it's literally mostly peaceful. Looks like people trying to cross the street. There's no law enforcement. I don't know why the Associated Press is showing that and not what's really going on, but Reuters. Oh, that's Reuters. Yeah, Reuters and Associated Press.
This is interesting because they backed out a little bit on the camera angle, and it says federal building on this building.
Oh, that might be the building they're looking at.
And those aren't National Guardsmen, or at least I don't. Well, maybe there are some. It may be a mixture of Guard and.
I'm also keeping an eye on the Russian buzzer because I know Putin's upset that we kind of allowed Ukraine to launch some heavy weaponry over there. So, what better thing than now when everybody's distracted by this crap to pull something?
Well, if you believe the press secretary, the president, and maybe even the Secretary of State, we didn't know about that before it happened.
Really? Yeah, what I saw said that it was under our full authority that we gave to Zelensky.
All right. Well, we planned on staying about 15 minutes to a half hour. We've been here for 45 minutes. I think we're going to just continue to see what we're seeing. So let's say a word of prayer for the safety of what's going on out there. And we'll pick this up tomorrow night on Red, White, and True.
Sounds good.
Father, thank you for allowing us to be able to do what we do. Father, Ronnie and I both take seriously the position that you put us in and allowed us to be in. And so just now, I pray that we say and we do the right thing, that we don't have to be unbiased because we're not a journalism station. We can give our opinions, and that's what we do. We're opinionated, and we believe things that are what we follow. But Father, I just ask that you would keep everybody safe out there, both sides of this riot, but especially the law enforcement, the military, those innocent people. Father, I don't wish horrible things for the bad guys. I just would like to see them be arrested and be accountable for what it is they're doing. Father, give the politicians the wisdom. And I pray that they'll ask for wisdom, because your word tells us if we ask for wisdom, that you will give it to us abundantly. So I pray for their wisdom. I pray that they'll ask you for wisdom. And I pray that this situation will be over with sooner than later. Thanks for being with us, Father. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, if we have to come on live before tomorrow night, then it'll really be something going down.
Yeah.
And who knows? Like you say, Russia is upset. Israel and Hamas, that powder keg could blow any second.
Speaking of that, I've actually got a video of Greta Thunberg from Sweden, who was on a boat who got captured by Israeli forces or Israeli sympathizers or something.
Yeah, I think the IDF took care of that flotilla.
Yeah.
that was coming there to supposedly bring aid to the residents of Gaza. Basically, she recorded a pre-recorded message that if you're seeing this, we have been taken into custody. So, I mean, it was basically all a photo op. She's really a climate change activist that started when she was a teenager, and now she's an adult and should know better. And
still doesn't.
So, right. But your point is that anything could go on with that, with the aid that's going in. Well, practically every day something goes on with that. Or, somebody could be lowering the boom on Iran. And I think Trump has been nice long enough. It's either you do what we say or we take the gloves off, but better yet, we allow the Israelis to take the gloves off, and then you're getting messed up bad.
Absolutely.
All right, folks, tomorrow night, 7:00 Eastern, where you're watching right now. Oh, if you're watching, and let me see if I can get this up here. Go to edandronnie.com, click on the Facebook tab, and follow us there, because we are within 8. Earlier today we were at 92, and we need 100 to be able to send our reports directly to our own Facebook page. Right now we're having to put it other places. So 8 more is what we need. So help us out, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Say good night, Ronnie.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.
And until then, go out and do the right thing.